Going through our loved ones' belongings after they pass is extremely difficult. In my last video where I talk about the Nokbox, that's a file system where it helps us to manage and deal with all of our belongings so our loved ones know what to do with our things when we pass. I'll link to that video. But in that video, several of you had commented that you have had to do that very thing. You've had to go through your parents' belongings, and some had the experience of a parent who had everything lined out, things were all taken care of and they knew what to do. And then others have had the experience of it was a nightmare. I didn't know what to do with anything. It took me forever to go through things because there's so much stuff. Imagine how much can be accumulated over decades if someone has not gone through their things, or if there's no system to be left for the person who's going to deal with things afterwards. In that last video, I briefly mentioned Swedish Death Cleaning. I want to talk about that more today. Swedish Death Cleaning is something, the term comes from the Swedes, the Scandinavians, who they don't want their loved ones to be burdened with their things. That's the way they view it. If I don't go through my things while I'm alive, it's going to be a burden to my loved ones. And so I'm going to do it now. That's their thought process. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. I saved so many things from my kids when they were growing up. And I thought they're going to want all these things someday. I mean, I have things from when I was a kid, and, you know, they're kind of neat to go back and look through. So I had these just tote after tote after tote of our son's things. About 7 years ago, we were moving, and I said to my sons, okay, y'all come get your stuff. And they're like, well, what stuff? I said, well, I have all these totes of your things from when you were in school. And they're, well, what's in there? Well, just come get your stuff. So they come and I pull out all these totes out of the shop. Said, here are your things. And instead of going, oh, mother, thank you so much for keeping my first grade paper. This makes me so happy. Instead, they said, I don't want that. Like, why do I want my handwriting from first grade? Why do I want that stuffed animal from when I was 8 years old? You know, why do I want this stuff? And I said, I have kept this stuff. I have carted this stuff around for decades now. And you don't want it? And I went, no. We want the baseball cards and the football cards, and we want, you know, our little Dallas Cowboys uniform. That's all we want out of this. I was like, oh, okay. I carted around so much stuff that nobody wanted. And it made me think, well, you know what? If they don't want their stuff, they're not going to want my stuff. And I started going through my own things and I still have things that were mine when I was little. And I'm going through those things because I have to face the reality. My kids do not want all of my things when I pass away. They don't want all that. So there are some filters that we go through. And as I've gone through this Swedish death cleaning process, of going through my things and getting rid of things that my kids are not going to want. There's a filter that we go through to kind of decide. My next video will be about that. How to curate our things in such a way that we can get rid of what we don't want, but we just haven't dealt with it, and things that we're going to hold on to them for a while, but our kids ultimately are not going to want those things. So that will be my next video. So what if something happens to Troy and me, and we're both gone, or we're incapacitated and we can't do things for ourselves and we can't make these decisions? Our kids are going to have to come into our home and go through all of our stuff. What if we can no longer manage and live in this 4-bedroom house with a shop behind us on 3 acres? Like, what if we can't take care of it? What do we do? What if we can't decide? We don't have the ability to decide. And again, what if we passed away? Our kids are going to have to come in and decide what to do with all of our things. We want to make that as easy for them as possible. They don't want to come and spend every waking moment of their time going through mountains of things that we just didn't take the time to get rid of, or that we just didn't want to deal with, because it will all be left to them to figure out what to do with. I don't want to do that to them. We expect to live another 40, 50 years, and think about how much stuff we can accumulate in another 40 years. And if we don't start already going through things and we just keep bringing things in, oh mercy, oh goodness, think of all the things our loved ones are going to have to deal with. We have to do this now while we're younger, while we still feel good, and I can crawl up into the loft still, and I still have the energy to do what I need to do. So we need to do it now while we can. This is a process that takes time. It's not going to be done in a weekend. It's not going to be done in a day. I have been at it as far as really intentionally Swedish Death Cleaning. I've been at it for a few months now, not daily, not even weekly. I'm going through it as I can. And I have got piles of things that I've gone through in the rooms, and I've set this here, then in the den I've kind of piled everything there. In the garage I've got a pile of what I've gone through there. But little by little I'm going through it, and then I will get rid of all of those things at once. So I've gone through the house already. Now I'm up in the loft. This is our loft, and it's our storage area. It's in our garage. When we moved here 3 years ago, I got rid of a lot of things, but we've just accumulated more, and things got put back up there. I went through my Christmas decorations, got rid of about half of them that I wasn't even using. I did that about a year ago. So I got it all pulled out of there and got everything clean, crawled up there with my leaf blower, and then got it dusted out really well. Got everything put back up in there neatly, but I still think there are a few things that I'll probably go back and get rid of. So given your time and your energy, how long do you think it would take you to go through your storage area, a loft, an attic, a storage unit? How long would it take you? Answer in the comments, either A, 1 to 2 days, B, 1 to 2 weeks, or C, more than a month. Answer in the comments, would you? So let's talk about the 5 steps to Swedish Death Cleaning. You know how when you're watching a video and you're thinking, wow, this is really great information. You're so absorbed into it. And then the content creator comes on and says, if you find this information valuable in any way, remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. That's what I'm doing now. If you find any value in this information, would you remember to like, subscribe, and comment? I would so appreciate it. All right, let's get to our 5 steps of Swedish Death Cleaning. This is the way that I approach it, all right? So we're gonna have 3 different categories. So we're gonna take maybe there's bags, boxes, or bins that you're gonna put your things in. And what these are for, our categories, there are things that we're going to keep. So we'll put these in our bins. Maybe they're going to go back into storage, or maybe we're going to move them to another area, but we're going to put these in our bins. And then there are things that we're going to give away. We can go ahead and put those in our bags. And then there are things that honestly, we're just not sure about yet. So let's put those in our boxes. And, you know, as many decisions, like definite decisions that you can make, do that. But honestly, even as I've gone through my things, there were things like I just can't decide that right now. And if I try to just figure this out right now, it's just going to derail me. Like I'm going to be stopping on the whole process. So don't hold yourself up with an indecision. Just put it away for a bit and you'll come back to address that later. Step 2 is choose one room. Look, it could be so overwhelming. If you think about all that you have to do, you're going to get so overwhelmed. So don't think about everything. Just go to one room. When I started here in my office because it was the easiest room to do. It was the most obvious to do. And another thing, here's a big tip. Come in close. Start with things you are not emotionally attached to. Do not start with sentimental items. So I started in the office because this was the simplest to me. There's less in this room because honestly, I don't do much in here. I got to have some sunshine. So I work in the living room where there's a lot of light. This is like a cave in here to me. And so I don't even really work in here. But choose one room in your house. All right, step 3 in the Swedish death cleaning process, we're going to choose one area. So we've chosen one room. Now we're going to choose one area. Don't go into that room thinking, oh, there's so much to do in here. Just choose one area. I chose my desk, and my desk had so much stuff in it, and it's a small desk. But I had so many pins. It was like I thought they were never going to make another pin again. All right, so I got my pins all cleaned out. Actually, y'all, can I just say, I'm so sorry about my audio. I'm having some microphone troubles, and it's not wanting to charge. So I apologize for the echo. But look at see, this is probably a terrible view right here, but it's all nice and neat, and it looks so pretty. And not like a bazillion pins. We're not doing that anymore. All right, here's a tip I want to share with you. As you're moving things and getting rid of things, if there are things that you know you're going to keep, sometimes it's good to just keep them in the same place, even if it doesn't make the biggest world of sense. Here's what I mean. I have these. These are our sail-in sign cards from our cruises, and I keep them in this little bag. And I actually keep them in a drawer down here with like cords and another microphone. Does that make sense? No, not really. But I have to keep it in there. You know why? Because it was in there to begin with. And if I move it, I will have no idea where I moved it. If that is a bad sign, please don't tell me. I just don't even want to know. I'm just going to say it's because I'm over 50. But anyway, I start with one area. This is my one area, is just my desk. After my desk, when I'm putting everything back, you put it back, you know how it makes sense to you, how you use things. For instance, I know I'm going to come back when we go on our next cruise. I'm going to go to that drawer and I'm going to look for my lanyards. And if it's not in there, I'm going to have no idea where I put it, probably. So I'm going to keep it there. After this, then I've got a bookshelf there that I really went through, and I've got to do some more tidying on that because I've got some stuff to decide what to do with on that. But that is step 3, is choose your area. All right, so you have got your 3 different categories of containers. You know what room you're going to start in. You know what area that you're going to start in. The next thing that you're going to do is clean. And I'm not talking about like dustboard ceiling fan clean. I'm talking about whatever the trash is in the room. If you've got, you know, old catalogs that you don't want, or grocery store circulars, or just old, you know, envelopes that you've written a number on because you didn't have a piece of paper, and now you're looking at it going, no, what is that? And I'm like, that's what I do. Like, what in the world? Why did I write that down? Anyway, just chunk the stuff that you know is obviously trash that you want to get rid of. My gum wrappers, I don't know. But just clean and tidy up. Now, this looks like a big mess right here, but, well, and it kind of is, but it's an intentional mess because these are things that I have gone through. That this is one of those piles I was talking about, and I put it in here to be out of my way in other areas of the house. So these are things that are gonna get rid of. Some of them are in boxes, and then some of them I didn't have boxes big enough for. So that is step 4, is just to get cleaned up. All right, now step 5 is the heart of the process. This is where we declutter. This is the heart of Swedish Death Cleaning. This is where we're very intentional. Now, these things that I have gone through, honestly, I am so happy that they're going, because they're, oh goodness, look. Here are some of the pins that were in that drawer. And then how many vases does a person need? I had a closet full of these things. I kept just a couple. That's all that I need. But we have to be very intentional as we declutter and go through our things. Because I'd ask myself, okay, are one of my kids, do they want my motorcycle jackets? None of us even ride motorcycles anymore. You know, so somebody else could be enjoying these things rather than them just being shoved in a closet somewhere, right? So let's just let somebody enjoy these things and get some use out of them. And then we, in turn, have less to manage. I feel like I'm really crooked here, and I'm really sorry. But we have less to manage and take care of. And which, if I have less to manage and take care of now, then my kids are going to have less to manage and take care of later. Give your loved ones the gift of going through your things ahead of time. And remember those papers, all those documents, that filing system where we're going to keep track of everything, our keys and our titles, and a list of our assets and what everything is that we can lock away and keep protected. But our loved ones know where to find those things. That was my previous video. I will link to that about the Nokbox and how to come up with that type of a system to manage what all you have. And that will be a blessing to our loved ones.